Alright, so before we get into coding the WordPress theme, we're going to first just create the HTML template, okay, just using HTML and CSS. And this is a Bootstrap theme, and I'm actually going to take one of the example templates and start from that. Okay, so if we go to getbootstrap.com and go to Getting Started, and we scroll down, actually you can click over on Examples, what we're going to start with is this narrow Jumbotron template. So let's click on that. And what we'll do is do a Control U so we can see the source code, and let's go ahead and create our template folder. Okay, so I'm just going to call this business. Actually, we'll call it business HTML. Alright, and let's open that up. And before we actually copy that, let's go ahead and download Bootstrap. Okay, we'll open that up, and then we're going to take CSS. Actually, we'll create our own CSS folder, and all we need from here is bootstrap.css. Okay, we're also going to have a JS folder, and then we'll bring over bootstrap.js. Okay, so that's all we need from this package. Now what we'll do is create an index page. Okay, then we'll open that up. And what we'll do is grab all that source code. Okay, we'll just grab the entire thing and paste that in. Now we're going to go through and just remove what we don't need. Okay, make it a lot more simple than this. Let's get rid of these comments. We don't need these meta tags right here. Okay, for the title, just for now, I'm going to change it to just business theme. Okay, now we need to point to our Bootstrap CSS, so we're going to just remove that. And we're using the non-minified file, so just bootstrap.css. And then the rest of the stuff in the head we can actually just get rid of. Alright, now we're going to have a custom style sheet, so let's copy this. And we'll just change this to style.css. And we might as well create that now. So this will be style.css. Okay, we might as well open that up as well. Now in the body, actually before we get to that, let's go ahead and download Font Awesome. Okay, so if we click download and we open that up, what we want from here is the CSS file, so we want that. Let's bring that over to our project. Okay, we're also going to take the fonts folder. Okay, we'll bring that right over. And that's it. So we want to also point to that file, so let's go ahead and copy that. And let's just change this to font awesome.css. Moving down into the body, we have our nav bar here. Okay, for home, let's change that to index.html. This one here will be about.html, and then this one, this contact, I'm going to change to blog. Okay, project name. Now, we're actually going to use a logo, a really simple logo that I created. So I'm going to just change that to image source. We'll say img. We'll have a folder called img, and then logo.png. Okay, so let's go add that. You should have it in your project files. So I'm going to create a new folder here called img. and I'm going to just paste this in. So now we'll move on to the Jumbotron. Now this, we can just keep that as it is right now. All right, going down, we have another row with the class of marketing. That just adds some extra padding. Before we do anything else, let's just go ahead and save this. Now, if we go and look at it, okay, so it doesn't look like the example, which is, where is it? This right here. And the reason for that is this has a custom CSS file. If we look at the source code, there's a file called jumbotronnarrow.css. We want to click on that, and then we just want to copy everything that's in there and go and paste that in our style.css file. Okay, now if we save that and go back, now it looks just like the demo. Alright, now that style CSS file actually has a lot of code that we don't need, so I really want to just clean this up. Okay, we don't need all the comments for one thing. I mean, you can keep them if you'd like, I just don't. I like to make it as clean and simple as possible. We don't really need these comments. We can actually get rid of these media, these styles here, and let's see, we don't even need this. So everything from this media tag down we can get rid of. And let's see, I don't think we need this right here either. Alright, let's save that and see what we get. Okay, so we need to just make that narrow. Let's create a container. Okay, there's a class called container, and we're just going to set a width to that. Actually, we'll set a max width. Okay, this template will be completely responsive as well. So I'm going to say max width 1020 pixels. There we go. Okay, I don't want it narrow like the demo. So that looks good. Now, this area here isn't going to be here. What I want to go here is those three boxes. All right, which will have an icon, a heading, and a paragraph. All right, which we have right here, a heading and a paragraph. So what we'll do is go into index.html, and where we have this row right here, row marketing, and then what we have is two 6-column divs. What we want is 3 4-column divs. So let's go ahead and just get rid of those and these, and let's change this to 4. Change that to 4, and then we just need one more of these. Okay. I also want to change the H4s to H3s. Okay, and this row here, all the rows, I'm going to use a section tag instead of a div, just to help organize a little better. Alright, now we're also going to need our icons. So if you've ever used Font Awesome, you know that we use an I tag, and then we need the FA classes. So FA, and then to get the actual icon, you need that icon's class. In this case, it's FA bar chart. And then we want it to be a little bigger, so we're going to add FA3, and then just end the tag. Alright, so let's copy that. This one here, we're going to change from bar chart to code, FA code. And then this one here, we're going to change it to FA desktop. Save, and let's take a look. Okay, so for some reason the FA3 class, it's supposed to make it bigger, but for some reason the number, the FA dash, and then the size, they don't work. by default. So we're just going to have to add our own class to make those bigger. All right, we'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, I just want to finish the HTML. So the next area is going to be that big green area with the heading and the paragraph. So let's go right below this section, and then we're going to open another section. Okay, this is going to have a class of row, and we're also going to call this content region 1. All right, and this is actually going to be a widget position when we build the theme. We're also going to want some padding, so I'm going to create some padding classes. This is going to be PT50, so padding top 50, and then padding bottom 40. All right, now in here, we're going to add a container class, and then we want our column class, which will be call MD12 because we want it to go across the whole screen. And then we can put our H1, so we'll say clean bootstrap WordPress theme. And then for the paragraph, I'm just going to grab that and paste it in. Alright, and you notice that I gave it the class of lead. This is a bootstrap class that will just make it bigger. Okay, let's do some indentation here. Okay, save that. If we reload, doesn't look very good, okay, but that's the HTML. We'll get to the CSS in a little bit. So we're going to need the next widget area. I'm actually going to just copy this, and we're going to change this to content region 2, and this is going to have padding top 40 and padding bottom 40. Alright, and then instead of having one 12-column div, we're going to have two. We're going to have one that is 5. Okay, so an image is going to go there, and then we'll have another column with 7, and that'll be where we put the list. Okay, so here let's put an image tag, and we're going to say source equals img slash pic1.jpg. Alright, and all of these images will be in your project files. On this side, we're going to have an unordered list. So let's put a heading here. We'll just say theme features. And then I'm going to just paste in a UL with the class of list group. And then each LI will have a class of list group item. Alright, and also I put an icon, a check icon, next to each one. So let's save that. And actually I need to put the image in the correct folder, so let's do that. I'm actually going to paste in all of the images. You should have these in a folder called _images. Alright, and then this pic1 right here is the one that we're putting there. So let's go ahead and reload. Okay, so now we have the pic, and then we have the list. Now it's big because we didn't set a width to it. We're going to want to set it to width 100%, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So after that section, we have the footer. And the footer, just like with the boxes, will have 3 4-column divs. So I'm actually going to copy what we have right here and put that in the footer. Alright, and then we'll just clear out each 4-column div. Okay, so each one will have an H4 heading. So I'm just going to say heading. And let's put in a paragraph. Actually, before we do that, let's add a container div here, because we want it to all be pushed towards the middle. Alright, so I'm going to just paste in a paragraph here, and then for the next one is going to be just a heading and then an unordered list. And then the last one is going to be a heading and a simple form. Okay, so it has a name, email, and a message field. So let's save that and go and reload. And then we get our 3 footer widget areas. Alright, so that's the HTML for the index page. I know it doesn't look too good yet, but we will fix that. In the next part of this lecture, we're going to create the other pages. So we're going to have an inner page for about, and then the blog page, and then the single blog page. Alright, so we'll get to that next.